Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a really complex corner of human psychology, survivor guilt.
Hmm.
It's that, profound sense of unease, sometimes even real guilt,
Yeah.
that can grip someone who's lived through something traumatic where others didn't make it.
It really is a fascinating area. Painful, of course, but fascinating. And our aim in this deep dive is really to get under the skin of it. What survivor guilt fundamentally is, how it shows up in people's thoughts and actions.
And the factors influencing it,
Exactly, what shapes its impact.
right? So if you've ever found yourself pondering what it must feel like, to survive something devastating when others didn't, or maybe even grappled with similar emotions yourself. Well, let's unpack this.
So
So
the,
maybe right off the bat, what's the key difference between survivor guilt and, say, clinical depression or PTSD? Because there seems to be overlap.
That's a really crucial point to clarify. While someone experiencing survivor guilt might also be dealing with depression or anxiety, and those are common in PTSD, for sure, the defining thing about survivor guilt is this specific feeling, this sense of responsibility almost, or wrongfulness for having survived when others didn't.
Ah, okay. So it's very focused.
Very focused, yes.
Uh,
It's tied directly to their survival versus others' deaths or suffering. Psychologists often talk about counterfactual thinking here, those what ifs, the if onlys that just replay constantly.
right. What if I'd done something else? Interesting. So what kind of events um, typically set the stage for these feelings?
Well, the range is actually quite broad. You see it after accidents,
Yeah.
definitely, especially ones with fatalities,
Yeah.
very common in war veterans, tragically, and survivors of natural disasters, tsunamis, earthquakes, where there's just widespread loss of life.
So pretty much any situation where some people live through a crisis and others don't.
That's essentially it, yeah. It
Yep.
creates that potential trigger.
Okay, so we've got the what and the where. How does this actually show up, in someone's life? Emotionally,
Yes, so-
behaviorally?
Emotionally, well, it can manifest as deep sadness, a really crushing sense of shame, persistent anxiety that isn't just about the event itself, maybe, and a strong tendency towards self-blame.
Sounds heavy. And behaviorally.
Behaviorally, we might see someone sort of isolating themselves, pulling back, or becoming hyper alert to danger, even when they're safe. Or sometimes, kind of paradoxically, engaging in risky behaviors.
Risky behaviors. Why?
It's complex, but it might be as if they feel they don't deserve safety, or perhaps they're testing fate.
Wow. Incredibly isolating, as you said. Are there particular groups who might be more vulnerable to experiencing this?
Yes, and it kind of makes intuitive sense, really.
Yeah.
Those who've directly experienced events with major loss of life or seen severe suffering right there up close, they're at higher risk.
Like rescue workers, maybe?
Exactly. Rescue workers who survive when colleagues don't, or civilians who live through intense violence and witness others dying all around them. That proximity and scale seem key.
That's a stark reality.
Yeah.
So how do psychologists try to understand why this happens? Are there different, theoretical angles?
Oh, absolutely. Cognitive theories often focus on how survivors try to make sense of something inherently senseless, right?
Mm-hmm.
They grapple with why they lived and others didn't. Sometimes they construct these narratives that place some kind of responsibility on themselves, even if it's not logical.
Trying to find an explanation. Any explanation.
Precisely. And then emotional theories really highlight the role of empathy. Survivors can deeply internalize the suffering of those who died, almost feeling like they escaped a fate they somehow also deserved. It's tied into that drive to find meaning, even in tragedy.
And how does all this intense feeling then ripple out,
Yeah.
affecting relationships, their sense of self?
Well, the weight of it can put a significant strain on relationships, for sure. Individuals might withdraw, like we said, feeling unworthy of connection or just fearing they'll burden others.
Yeah, I can see that.
And their identity can be profoundly shaken. They might struggle to reconcile surviving with the deaths of others, leading to this sort of fractured sense of self, like they're not the same person anymore.
And it really seems like a critical piece here is how much responsibility, even just perceived responsibility, the survivor feels, right?
Absolutely crucial. Perceived responsibility is a huge amplifier, even in situations where, objectively, they had zero control. If they believe deep down they could have or should have done something differently, that guilt can become incredibly powerful and very persistent.
This is undoubtedly heavy stuff, but is there any possibility that something positive can eventually emerge from this kind of suffering?
It's a really nuanced point and maybe surprising, but yes. In some cases, Confronting and processing survivor guilt can lead towards what psychologists call post-traumatic growth.
Grief out.
It's not about minimizing the pain at all, but it's about a potential for, well, profound personal transformation. Survivors might develop a renewed appreciation for life, maybe find a deeper sense of purpose, or become really motivated to help others. It often involves finding a way to make meaning out of it all.
Integrating the trauma into their life story in a new way.
Exactly. Finding a way forward that incorporates the experience, rather than just being defined by the guilt.
That's a really important point. And what about culture? Does the broader cultural context play a role in how this is all experienced or expressed?
Oh, definitely. How emotions like guilt and grief are shown, understood, talked about, that varies hugely across cultures. Some might have specific rituals or strong community support systems that really help people process these feelings.
While others might unintentionally stigmatize it.
Right, or just misunderstand it, which can make things much harder for the survivor.
Okay, so boiling this down, survivor guilt isn't just sadness after trauma. It's this specific sense of responsibility, of wrongness, for surviving when others didn't. Triggered by all sorts of events, shows up emotionally and behaviorally, heavily influenced by perceived responsibility.
And individual psychology, the event itself, the cultural setting.
And crucially, while incredibly difficult, it doesn't always have to be the end point. There's potential sometimes for post-traumatic growth.
That sums it up well. It's a deeply human, really multifaceted response.
So considering how fundamental our sense of fairness, our sense of responsibility is, how might a deeper understanding of survivor guilt not only help those experiencing it, but also maybe how we, as a society, offer support and compassion after tragedies? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for shedding so much light on this today.
My pleasure. It's an important topic.